Hi everyone, this is your writing mentor, Catherine, and I just wanted to take a moment to go over Project One because I know that there's a lot of information that we have in the modules about Project One and about this class as a whole, and I know it can be a little bit overwhelming, so I just wanted to take a minute to kind of very briefly go over everything that Project One includes and kind of what we're looking for, just so you can see it all condensed into one small space. So first of all, for this class, you'll be doing two different projects. There's Project 1 and Project 2, and they're both connected to each other. Project 1 will be about a nonprofit organization, and then Project 2 will be about an issue that's related to what that organization does. So, for example, when I was in this class, for Project 1, my nonprofit organization was a cat shelter in my local city, and my Project 2 was about the feral cat population in my city, and the shelter that I wrote about in Project 1 helped with the feral cat issue in Project 2. So they have to be related to each other in some way, but Project 1 will focus on a nonprofit organization, and you'll be writing a newsletter about that organization. The requirements for this are actually pretty loose. It looks like there's a lot because we try to give you a lot of information and a lot of different ideas. But as long as you're meeting the basic requirements, the project actually has fairly loose requirements. So all you need is to know who your organization is, obviously. It needs to be set up as a multimodal newsletter, and that can look like a lot of different things. I have had people do like an email that would get sent out to someone who signed up for a newsletter. We've seen people do basically what looks like a website. You could put it in like a Word document or a PDF document or something like that. But they can look like a lot of different things. I've had someone turn in like it looked almost like a PowerPoint. So it can be all kinds of different things. People have used all sorts of different things in the past. As long as the idea is a newsletter, you're trying to give information on your nonprofit to a specific chosen community. You need to include two primary sources and two secondary sources. Primary sources can be if your nonprofit has a website. It can be if your nonprofit has like a social media group that they run themselves. It could be something that they have published. You could go to the organization if they have like a physical building and take pictures of it or interview people. All of those are primary sources. Information that comes directly from the organization itself or information that you are going out and gathering about the organization are all primary sources. And then two secondary sources. And secondary sources are basically everything else. If someone else writes like an article about your organization, that would be a secondary source. Or if someone has a social media account on behalf of that organization, rather than something that's run by the organization itself, that would be a secondary source. Secondary sources also don't have to directly be about the organization. So, for example, if you were like me and you did your nonprofit about a shelter, you could cite statistics about feral cat populations, and the statistics are not directly related to the shelter, but they help bolster your point that the shelter is doing important work by helping to cut down on cat populations. So that would be a secondary source, something that is statistically relevant to what you're talking about or somehow other relevant to what you're talking about. And it does need to be multimodal. This is something that's new to a lot of students. We're not necessarily looking for your standard 5-paragraph essay here. We're wanting you to get creative and have fun and try to explore writing as you see it in the real world. If you look at an online news article or a journal piece or something that you're seeing online, you're not going to see the 5-paragraph essay, right? You see pictures, you see that the web page is colored, you'll see that they use a lot of headers and bolded font and different sized font, and they'll pull quotes out separately and have it sitting off to the side. So they do all kinds of different things to catch your attention, to keep your attention, to make it more fun to read the article. And we're hoping that you will explore those ideas. Even if you've never done it before, give it a try and see what you think. Add some images, make sure those images are captioned. Try moving some text around and coloring it different colors. If you haven't done something like that before, and maybe you're not sure what that would look like, there's actually a lot of examples down here at the bottom of different projects that students have done in the past to give you some ideas for that. And then finally, it needs to be in APA format. APA format is maybe new to a lot of people, especially for an English class, so it can be kind of difficult. I have some APA resources that I have put out or will put out soon for all of you that will hopefully help. But if you have questions about APA or multimodal or sources or the genre or anything else, you can always please feel free to reach out. And ask questions to either me or the professor for this course. We are more than happy to help. We love helping students engage with English in what for many of us is a new way. So we're very excited to help in whatever way that we can. So yeah, just again as a very brief overview, Project 1 just concerns a nonprofit organization that you'll be writing a newsletter about. You know, what kinds of issues do they tackle? Why is their work important? How your audience can help with the cause, things of that nature. All right, so again, if you have any questions about it, just please feel free to reach out. And good luck. I'm so excited to read what you write.